So let me explain front end and back end and within PEN so you can see how I've structured PEN. Okay, again, you take that and you apply it in any business in whichever context that you are in. Okay, so if you look at PEN, the first front end product that we have is our referral program. Absolutely free to join. You refer us a member of your family, friends, colleagues, doesn't really matter who you know. And when we get a deal done, you get paid at the back of that. It's free to join. There's 140 plus people in our referral WhatsApp group. 10% active, 15 people actively referring us business. What else do you want? Yes, no? If I speak with anyone who is into property business and I tell them we have over £1 billion worth of stock on the table, would you like to become a referral member? And when you bring an investor for one of our deals, we close the deal, we split 50-50. Do you think they're going to say no? Anyone would say no? Someone only stupid with a lot of respect. No one in the sane mind would say no to this, right? So that's our front end product where someone could join for free, refer us, investors, developers, we grow the network, we grow the value of the business while making money and generating all these leads for absolutely free. I was mentioning in the early morning, if you run ads on social media these days, it will cost you anywhere between £1 to £500 a lead, depending on how competitive your industry is, depending on the product and the service, but it can cost you up to, and I know people who've paid £500 a lead. Okay. And sometimes it's almost impossible to even get traction on some products and services because they're just so generic. Okay. For example, finance products. Okay. If I run an ad saying, oh, I provide property finance, I will run out of money before I make any money. Okay. So that's why you don't see many brokers running finance ads because they've tried, it doesn't work. They just go back to networking. Okay. So the first product within PEN is the PEN referral program. Again, the purpose of sharing this is so you can see and how you can apply. The second product we have in our line, and front end and back end has to be chronological. That means it goes from free and it goes all the way up to pretty expensive stuff. Okay, and you have to adjust it accordingly. So the second product we have is the PEN Inner Circle, where we help agents sell more deals through our investor database. And we help investors get access to deals as first. So we give both the benefits. So we give agents the benefit of using our network to grow, to sell their deals. And the second is we provide investors with deals before it goes on to the open market. Okay, so they both get benefits and people join. Do you think it's worth paying £40 a month for an investor who is looking at a few multi-million-pound deals to join and say, you know what, I'd rather look at the deals first? Do you think it's worth it? If they can see deals? Obviously, remember, everything is based on value. If you don't provide value, people are just not going to stay. Done and dusted. Every product that you bring in, every service that you bring in has to provide value. If you don't provide value, it's dead. Done. £40 a month. Do you think it's worth it for an agent who is actively, in fact, like auction companies we're going into collaborations with? Do you think it's worth it for them to come and join us, sell their deals through our base, and then be able to only pay maybe £40? And if they don't pay £40, we can do a collaboration in a creative way where we both make commission. Yes, no? Okay, that's Inner Circle for you. Okay. The third one is our subsets of trainings. Okay, so we have all these online recorded trainings like the one you're watching now. There's 11 subsets of these trainings now that people can get access to. And remember, all of this is very automated. The referral program, someone brings an investor, okay? The deals are uploaded by the virtual team. I only do the connection. I create WhatsApp groups and I keep adding people on top of each other. So there are times when I would put one deal and I would have 40 people in the group just bidding for one deal. Okay, you always got to create urgency. When you put more than one person in the group, they all start to think, oh, someone else is going to take it. So there's urgency to be able to grab that deal. Okay, so the third layer is the subsets of all these trainings. The fourth one is the representative model. Okay, the representative model is based on scaling further. Okay, remember, I'm bringing way too much value into the representative model. I'm bringing way too much value. because it had so many holes initially when I started, for me to fill up those holes, I have to keep the price so low and so much value in it to be attractive for some people that even when they come in and still see some holes, they're still prepared to stay because of the value they're getting. Does that make sense? Yes, no? Okay. Remember, any product or service doesn't come with perfection. It doesn't come with perfection. You have to make it evolve into it where you keep filling all the holes. Okay. Yeah, so we have P and representative model where you can join for 95 per month. Okay. And we help you do events. We bring in investors, developers, agents, deals, landlords into the group for you. And then we close deals for you. So it's almost like, it's like a franchise model where you are a franchisee. We don't just call it franchisee, we call it representatives. And we help you fill the room with 30 to 1,000 people. And then at the back of that, you are selling all of these services. Properties, finance, builders, architects, planners, project managers, and then trainings, mentoring, P and club, pretty much all the front end and back end that you're looking at, all of this will be sold to the representative model. So we go from the referral membership, which is free to join, to inner circle, which is £40 a month, to 11 subsets of trainings, to representative, which is 95 per month. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then you get to the next one, which is mentoring. We charge $495 per month. And then we get to the P and club, which is based on, we will provide you training and mentoring for free as long as you invest over 100 grand. Does that make sense? Okay. I think you can all see through this. Okay. Your aim needs to be to sell as many services and products at the back of that. Okay. Just alone yesterday, we've agreed on one deal which is bringing in £3,000 commission. It's an airspace development, and we agreed on another deal which is bringing in £13,000 commission. They're both going under legals. Okay. Now that's not money in my account yet, but the chances of closing is about 66%. 1/3 of the deals fall through. 2/3 of the deals go through. So if 2/3 of the deals go through, if there's 3 of them going through and two of these go through, I make £16,000. Okay. And this is all because of this whole front end and back end that you're looking at. Because people come through into the network because of the system that's set. Now let's take the same formula and apply it to a business of your choice. You pick up the business and I'll show you how to apply this front end and back end. Give me a business. Toughest one, flower business, but hey, just give me one. I'll show you how to do it. Pension. You can pretty much use the same formula that you look at PEN. However, the problem is it's a regulated market. You have to be very careful. Here, okay, so if I was selling, so what is it exactly that you're doing? You're selling a service, like you're advising people and setting up their pensions. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, you'd like to set up one. So you start a trust, right? Pension trust, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And who's going to look after the investment side of things when it actually goes into what you call making the money on the money? Okay. So your job would be just purely to set up this and bring people into the system, Okay. 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 Do you know that we've incorporated that into PEN? We've already done that. I've not started marketing to the, you've not seen it, but we have incorporated that, but I've not started marketing it. Okay. But if I was you and I was doing this, the first step would be to see, where do these people hang out? People who are over 50. Where do they hang out? What does their day look like? Tell me. Okay. So let's say if you were targeting over 50s, I would start with actually Facebook. And I'll tell you why. Because Facebook has actually grown old. If you look at the stats of Facebook, okay, it's mostly people over 40s using Facebook. Very few people below 40s use Facebook anymore. In fact, there's bigger range of over 50s using Facebook. Okay. Yeah. we can touch on that. But I would target Facebook, and I would target loads of these British Legion clubs. Okay. So if I was you, I would make a list of all the British Legion clubs in the country. I'm pretty sure there's one in every single town. Okay. And there's men's club, working men's club as well. There's British Legion, there's working men's club, which is, I never know why they call it men's clubs. There's always women in there as well. But I would make a list of all these two, okay? And I would approach every single one of them, and I'd create a structured way to bring them in, like you see with PEN, the effective use of WhatsApp, the effective use of Telegram, the effective use of LinkedIn, effective use of Facebook groups, social media. I learned from one of my mentors back in the days that if you have to invest in ads to acquire your first few clients, you are already on the losing business. Unless you can get to a point where you're breaking even in your business without doing paid ads, you are on a winning journey until you can get to that point, because you don't have a proven model. Okay. If you look at PEN, I've spent so far, since we started PEN, only £300 in total paid ads. 300, not even a penny more. Okay. So to take the context of this, if I was you, I would call up every single British Legion and working men's club, or for that matter, any kind of club they call it, not dance clubs, yeah, association clubs they call them. Make a list of them. I'm pretty sure there's 3,000-4,000 of these. Okay, and I'd approach and I would go. I'd take memberships. I'd do whatever it takes to get their attention. Attention normally is what? What is attention? How did you find me, John? Saida, someone recommended. That's the referral program working for you. So if you walked into a British Legion or called up a British Legion and you said, okay, I can come down for free and give a talk regarding how your members can take pension, use their pension effectively and grow their pension by double, it's almost like doubling your pot or tripling your pot. Do you think they would say no to that? Most would, yes. At least 9 out of 10 would say yes. So you go in, you give a little talk, half an hour, an hour, and then you ask them to join your WhatsApp group. Okay, or book a call. In fact, this is what I did in fact, you saw me at Premier's one, right? I went in, I gave a talk. I wasn't even sure if I gave a good talk. I was not sure about the actual talk, to be honest. Okay, like just literally, I can tell you, I went in, look, I'm very spontaneous the way I speak, right? I don't have to think because the knowledge is in depth. So I went in with the talk, not well prepared, but just I knew what I wanted to talk. You could see through, right? Not even a deck prepared. It was a deck. It was just words written, right? It didn't even work properly, yes. But what did I do at the end of it? I said, if you'd like me to give you a one-to-one strategy session, please WhatsApp me on this number saying strategy session or session, right? And we have a very good example here, Fortune with us, and she's invested with us. So all I did was I went, gave some valuable talk. I wasn't selling anything. That's okay. I wasn't selling anything. All I was doing was I gave value first. And I said, if you'd like me to give you a one-to-one session, WhatsApp me with your number. On the same day, I had 32 people message me session. Okay, I don't know how many people were in there, but 32 people messaged me. Okay, out of the 32, I think about 20 of them joined our referral program. And I think about a handful of them joined something or the other. Okay? And then, like I said, you are here. Okay. But that's how you structure something. So you bring, so when they jumped on a call with me, first I gave value for free. When they jump on a call with me, then I have all these front end and back end products to take them through the ladder. I call it the value ladder. Okay, so you can take them through that journey. However, if you're doing SaaS pensions, I would start with WhatsApp Group, provide value for free in terms of knowledge on what they can do. And then you tell them, would you like me to help you set up? Because 9 out of 10 people would just not, even if you provide them value, even if you share with them everything, they would not know where to start and what to do. That's it. That's your upsell. That's your upsell. So you could go from, again, I'm not in the SaaS space personally, but if I was signing up through someone, someone comes to me and says, how do I structure my pension? I take them to a collaboration. Someone is regulated, they sign them up. The money that they invest, I take that money and I invest it into a project of my own. But I don't know how you're structuring your business. My aim of getting into SaaS is, again, it's regulated stuff, so I do not advise. I take them to a regulated person. I have a collaboration with them. I get a small kickback. Plus, the money that they invest in their pension comes back to me, which I can use into our projects. Okay? So again, I don't know how you would do this. You charge for your advice, so you're gonna take them to a regulated person and get a kickback out of that. Again, it's a small product. And remember, if you just sell one product, you're on the losing journey. Okay. 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 But the reason I mentioned one product is because if you've done one product, you're limited. He's into properties, so he could potentially take that money and invest into his own projects. In essence, yes. They're correlated, but at the same time, they're two different products. Never call it a pyramid. It's not a pyramid unless it's indefinite chain. Okay. It's an upsell. And you can consult on that. Remember, you're not talking with people with, you're going to have, obviously, out of 10 people that you speak with, first of all, out of 100 people that you speak with, 80% of them would not even have enough money to even think of pension. Out of the 20 people that do have, I think about 15 of them would have barely enough to start a pension and, maybe do their own trust or whatever. But those 5 or 3 would have a few millions. And 1 out of those 100 would probably have over 10 million. 1 out of those 1,000 would have 100 million. 1 out of those 10,000 would have maybe over 100 million. Okay. Now, if you look at the front end and the back end of this, your aim is to get to that 1 out of that 10,000 who has 100 million. Okay. That's where you make money. Now, if I take that formula and apply it to the hotel business we're talking about, in most cases, we make this, let's say the million that I shared with you, I could invest 300 grand and make $1 million by the front end and the back end. But look at the referral program and the PM club. The referral program brings in people. And I think if I was to give you an average, once a month, I end up being referred to a person who always talks about over 10 million. 1 a month. Now, if I kept doing this for the next 5 years, can imagine how many people with the 10 million plus I'm speaking with, okay? Once a year on average, just, that I'm thinking on top of my head, I end up speaking with a person who's got 100 million. Okay? Now imagine being able to use that money into your projects. It's about structuring your business in a way. Remember, never try to sell anything. People go wrong when they try and sell something. Okay, don't sell. It's about bringing value. Sale is serving someone, and serving means you're bringing value. Okay, you all are sitting here. Okay, at some point or the other, you all paid me something. Okay, yes, no, okay. No. You haven't, but you have. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, the reason you came is because I wasn't selling you. I was just sharing value with you. I was sharing value. Tell me that if I wasn't, that would be a feedback loop for me. Okay. You gotta have a very strong, very, very strong loop, feedback loop, asking people, are you actually providing value or not? Okay. And it can be based on knowledge. It doesn't really matter what it's based on. You could be providing a service, or it could be knowledge-based. It doesn't really matter what you're providing. Okay? As long as people can see value in what you are providing. But if you take this concept of PEN that you're looking at, and then you look at all the ladder, the whole ladder, and you look at everything that's interconnected to on every step of the way, I only sometimes need to do one single deal. I did one last year, 4.1 million. Okay? Just one deal, paid all the bills for the year. Okay? I don't care if I'm going through COVID. I don't care what's happening in this world. The business is structured in a way, as long as I'm answering my phones and I'm active 2-3 hours a day, I'm making enough money. Okay? Enough, whatever, that's enough for me. So everyone has their own perception of it. So that's how you, and going back to your SaaS ventures, like I said, there's 2 products already there. You have the advice and the mentoring and everything else. And there's a couple of people that I know personally that I'm in collaboration with. They have the same. They've structured their mentoring. They charge $5,000 upwards for mentoring. And you can actually go and shadow them, and they take that money and actually invest it into their own projects. One of those members has a portfolio, not a portfolio, sorry. He at any given time is doing developments worth over 78 million. So his portfolio of developments, active developments at any given time is over 78 million. I think you would know that person. Okay. So all he does is he brings people in. He's written 2 or 3 books, 3 books so far. All he does is he's created a Facebook community where he brings in people and he shares about how you can set up your pension and how you can double your pension pot or triple your pension pot. And he then takes them to a regulated person who would set up a pension, okay, like a qualified financial advisor, which I am one, but I'm not, because I'm not FCA registered anymore. I don't do regulated stuff, okay? But I'm qualified to do pensions, okay? So he would take it to someone who's regulated. That person would set up everything. They would sign him up. The money that's invested into that pension goes back to the same person, and he now invests it into developments. Great business model. Charge for consulting, training, mentoring, and then do developments worth 70, 80 million plus. Good deal? Yeah. It's a good value ladder. 3 steps, done and dusted. You could have 3, you could have 30, doesn't really matter. As long as all of this makes sense to someone who's listening to you, and that you can make money out of it. And then also always remember, it's always got to be based on value. If any of your ladders in the value of front and back end is not value based, it will just fall, and then you have to make sure you bring something there. Because remember, and nothing ever is perfect. Don't try to perfection. Okay, it doesn't work. I used to be a perfectionist in my 20s. It just does not work. You'll always have loopholes. And like I shared with you earlier, the reason for the representative model at 95 per month is because there's holes in it. And I'm trying to fill them up slowly. But because the reason I've kept it that low is because I know there are some holes. I know that I need to fill them up. Does that make sense? Okay. But don't try perfection. It doesn't work. And you've seen it. You've seen it. I need, the first thing I need is a CRM system. And my tech team is so slow. I can tell you clearly, they're so slow. They keep making mistakes, and something that could be done in 3 months, they take a year. Okay. So this CRM system should have been ready at the start of last year. It's already 12 months. We haven't even started. It's not about you giving me one. I need one for my own specific ways of doing things. Huh? Or you can do it. You can build one. Okay, good. Let's reason that. Okay. Again, so that's your front and back end. Do you have any questions? Do you want to apply this in another business to see how it's going to work for you? Go ahead. Okay, so the back end is, so if you look at PEN, for example, so if you look at back end of PEN, we have the PEN club, and then we have the project management as well. So if, let's say, someone approaches me today, there are 2 skills that I come very strongly with. Okay, well, multiple skills, but 2 very strong skills that I come with. Okay. Project management. Okay. If you look at the representative, I don't think none of you have signed it so far. I think you have, so you might see it in this in the representative model. One of the points in the clause in the agreement is that if you were to do a development deal with another representative, that PEN will get paid 1% on the GDV. So let's say if Jennifer and Robert do a development 3 years from now, and let's say it's worth 5 million. I don't have to do anything at all. I'll still be getting 1%. Does that make sense? Okay. 1% from the development. So they could be partners, but I'm not getting, it's not 2%, it's 1% from the development. Okay. Half a percent each. You can say.
No, to give
it to me.
Yeah, from the project.
And believe me, if they stick around, they will end up doing developments. I'm not just saying, you know, Jennifer and Robert. I'm saying some of the members will end up doing developments, and I'm going to make substantial money. Okay, and if you look at PE and mentoring, it's not a one-to-one mentoring in most cases, it's group mentoring. Okay, I have 20 people that are paying me, for example. Okay, not 20 people, but normally there is, and they're all paying me X amount of money while I'm mentoring them, and it's all getting recorded while we are creating subsets of leverage of trainings as well. Can you see all of this? Okay, I come with 3 different very strong skill sets. Okay, I come with property finance. Okay, so any of the members who are connected within the network takes finance. One of the obligations of being a rep is that any deal that comes to you for finance, it has to come to us. Okay, it's an obligation. If he takes it somewhere else, that's a breach of contract. Okay, so all the finance deals are going to come to us. Okay, so that's one of the biggest skill sets that I bring on the table. Okay, second is my project management skills. Okay, so someone comes and says, you know what, I'm going to do a deal that's £5 million development GDV. I come on board, I charge as a project manager anywhere between 2 to 5%. And that's doing it from home. I could be sitting in Spain or in India or anywhere in the world, and I could still be making a lot of money. Okay. And the third skill set that I bring on the table is my personal one-to-one consulting. Okay. And I'm getting to a point in the next, I think maybe 2 or 3 years, I'm getting to a point where I'll be charging 20 grand a day for my base rate. Okay. And you'll see that. That's the leverage. You're seeing all the recordings. Okay. So when I share with you that for these 5 hours of this, we're going to record it, this leverage that you see, digital recording, when we value PEN and when I start doing personal consulting on one-to-one basis, this is a massive leverage that's getting recorded. Does that make sense? These are called digital assets. Remember, PEN has built a credibility. Yeah. It hasn't happened in a day, I promise you that. Okay, I have worked very, very hard throughout my life to learn everything that I'm teaching you, and at the same time, not just learning, but the intricate details or the smaller details of actually the implementation, like really small details. I can share with you problems that I've been through. You'll be like, you can't be serious. Okay, now you might turn up to me and say, there was a £1.1 million mortgage case, remortgage case. You could have done it yourself. You would have got 11 grand out of it, 11,000, right? You're only making 250. How are you making this business work? Person who does the application spends so much time, okay, trying to make that £10,000 work for them, while I could make 4 or 5 times more by just getting other people to do the work rather than me not doing the work. Does that make sense? Okay. Mm-hmm. And remember, one of the things between all of these front and back end strategies is your digital assets. I have 140 plus hours of recorded trainings at the moment. Okay. We're doing about 5 hours today. Okay. And we keep doing this for the next 3 or 4, 5 years, right? 5 years later, when PN gets valued, we have nearly, let's say, £1,000 worth of internally recorded trainings, which are called digital assets. There's a value that's being put on that knowledge and all the recordings. Does that make sense? Okay. All this is secured on cloud. All this is secured everywhere. So it's not like I'm going to lose them ever. I hope not.
So really, with the digital asset, it's something that, for example, I just sit with a camera, do my training, and then put it in the cloud, and then later on use it as a back end.
Okay, that's right. Yes. Yeah. But as a rep, you can't do that.
I can't do that with Lewisham Property.
You can do it with Lewisham Property, but again, we're changing everything, right? But I'll share with you everything.
Oh,
I'll share with you. Okay, you wouldn't need to do it yourself if you're getting 40% kickback on everything, all the digital assets that you sell.
Okay.
You just don't need the hassle. It's already all there.
It's already there.
It's already all there. You don't need to invest no time.
Yeah.
You don't need to invest on technology. You don't need to invest on nothing. It's already all set up there. Not yet. It will be. It will. It will be. It will be. It will be. It will be. Again, you got to look at all of this in one picture. So we're getting finance deals done, we're getting property deals done, we're selling, if someone is looking for a builder, someone is looking for an architect, planner, consultant, project manager, and then we are selling the inner circle, and then we are selling the subsets of trainings and the mentoring and the PE and club, and then at the back of all of this is my personal one-to-one consulting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, if now someone calls me up and says, you know, can you come and consult me for a single day? I would normally quote £3,000 for a single day. Okay. But I'm getting to a point where I'll be charging as a base rate 20 grand. I will get there in 3 years, 3 years max, I think. Okay. No, it will take 3. It may take 3 to 5, but let's say 3. Okay. I think it will get there 3. But the more you're able to create an effective structure, the more you're able to show it to someone and say, look, I can come and do this for you. Okay, would you pay me 20 grand? And in most cases, people would say yes, those who are running medium to large businesses. Yeah. Does that make sense? It's not for small businesses. No small business can pay me 20 grand a day. It's about a medium-sized to large-sized business who's already got 200 people working for them or 300 people working for them. If someone comes in and actually says, okay, I'm going to fill all these holes for you in a single day, to them, the cost of not filling those holes is way over 20 grand that they're going to pay me. Sometimes even in millions. Does that make sense? Okay. So you got to always look at the bigger picture and say, how are we setting it up and how are we structuring everything? Does that make sense? Yeah. Can you all, I want you all to see through everything, like the way it's structured, the way we do things, the way we make money, everything gets done at the back of that. You never make money from the front end. Do you think £40 for the inner circle, I'm making money out of that? Think twice. I'm losing money on that. I have virtual assistants to pay salaries to. Month ends, I have 3 salaries to pay there. Okay, and we're recruiting 2 more tomorrow. They're already shortlisted. So 5 people working full time for me. Okay, I lose money. I lose money on the representative model. Okay, but you got to look at it. Now, when you look at all of this, and say, okay, what about the developments? What about the money for these leads, hotels? What about all of the PEN that you look at is all part-time. The way it's structured, I only maybe invest 2-3 hours a day. And I could even reduce that if I wanted to. I could reduce it down to an hour a day. Is that a good structure?
Yeah.
It's all on autopilot. I don't have to do anything. If I want to not answer calls and give it to someone else to answer the calls, I can still do it. I'll only get emergency calls or something that needs to be dealt with that they can't deal with. If that's going to remain the case, irrespective of the stage of business you're at, you could have a business that's doing 5 billion, or you could have a business that's doing 50,000. Okay, you're going to still have people calling you because there are things that no one else can do that you. Okay, so that's how it's structured. But then look at developments and look at, you know, so I remember I invested in my first BTL back in 2003 and 2007 and kept buying buy-to-lets, which we sold, right? Now I'm only kept 1 buy-to-let and 1 resi, which is converting into a buy-to-let now. And I'm taking all of that money that I invested previously and now investing into lease hotels, okay? In the middle of this, we did a development worth 4 million GDP. I was operationally involved, plus I was an investor. We did another one, which was of 1.3 million GDP, okay? And then there was another planning uplift that we worked on, which I was to some extent operationally involved, not fully. That came to the market. We had agreed an option at 1.1 million and we sold that for 1.7 million. So we just made 600 grand just from the planning uplift. Remember, I was only a very small part of that, okay? And then from the development that we did, which was a 4 million GDV, now we got airspace planning for that as well, which I actually agreed yesterday on, okay? So airspace planning is basically building on top of what you have. So we got planning for that as well. And remember, I am an investor on board on that, plus I am an agent on board on that as well. Okay, so as an agent, now we got the deal agreed, and I'm making £3,000. Not bad for just sending it through to my investor base and getting a yes and making £3,000 out of that. Do you think that's bad money? I issued the sales memo this morning when Robert was here. You mean the referral program? It's very simple. You recommend us any investors, developers, anyone who's looking for either property deals, property finance, builders, architects, planners, and then you get kickback at the back of that. Representative model? Okay, it's very simple. We help you do events. It is up. So if you look at the value ladder, the first one is referral program, the second is inner circle, then the representative, and all the trainings and the mentoring and the PE and club, and then on top of it, it's our consulting. Does that make sense? So if you say that again, you don't become consultants, you become. So you are like representing a region. You're representing a region. Okay, you have exclusive rights to that region. We help you do events. We attract anywhere between 30 to 1,000 people. When they come into the room, they can buy any of these value ladder products. Does that make sense? And then you make money at the back of that. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions based on what I just shared so far? Yes. And you can literally take any, and I mean, I was talking about the flower business, right? Like literally you're selling flowers. What can you do with that? Like you'd be lucky if you make 50 grand by the end of the year, right? Yes, no? Okay. What if I shared with you, you can take a flower business and make £1 million out of that? Shall I share with you in 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say you set up a flower business. Make sure you set up on a high street with posh people. Because if you set up at the wrong place and you're paying 600 per month rent in comparison to maybe paying 2,000 per month rent, that £1,400 is going to make the biggest difference between making 50,000 a year and making £1 million a year. Okay, because those people who actually have 10, 20, 30, 50 million, who are going to hire you to come and decorate their place for 20, 30 grand a day, do not walk around high streets where you pay 600 per month. Okay, so that's your first step. When someone walks in and says, you know, it's my anniversary and I want to buy some flowers, one of the biggest skills you'll ever learn is assessing people. Okay, the way they talk, the way they're dressed, and everything else around that. Okay, it's very, very important. Okay, someone walks in and says, it's my wife's anniversary. Okay, could I ask you how much would you like to spend or invest? Okay, and they say, oh, I only want to spend £5. You know, that's where they are. So you give them a bouquet or whatever, you £5, whatever it is, right? But someone comes and says, you know what? I had a fight with my wife and I really want to do something nice for her. Okay. Okay. How about you show 3 or 4 bouquets or whatever and say we can wrap this up with chocolates. Remember, you're not packaging things. Okay. Champagne, so on and so forth. Okay. All of a sudden, you could go from someone who's had a fight with his wife spending £200 for a champagne, a bouquet, so on and so forth. Do you think it's a lot of money, £200, to go back home to a wife you've had an argument with? I can assure you it's not. Most men would spend that money without a blink. Yes, no? 3 men sitting here agree, yes, no? I promise you, those men who make decent money, what's that? But those who make the reasonable amount of money would happily spend a couple of £100 just so they can go back. Okay. Now let's say someone comes in and says, you know what? Okay, go ahead. Yes.
No, but the flowers wouldn't be digital. They'd
No,
come into your establishment, but your establishment would be in Kensington, Sloane Square. It'd be on that higher end.
Yes, but she has a good question. Let me come to that answer. Remember, Your lead magnet, they call it the lead magnet in marketing terminology. Okay, your lead magnet needs to be very strong. Okay, the strongest one is being on the right high street, right location. That's one lead magnet.
Yeah, then
you need hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Okay, if within PEN, does anyone want to share what is my lead magnet? Anyone? Do you know what my lead magnet is normally? It's the content that you see on YouTube and social media platforms. Okay, or the speaking gigs that I do. That's my social lead magnet. But then within that lead magnet, one of the strongest one is our referral program. I don't need to share value for a person to refer another member. They go, they speak with a family member. Oh, I want to remortgage. Oh, let me introduce you an amazing guy. I know him very well. Okay, and they bring him to me. While what am I doing? I'm providing value to the referral members. Does that make sense? I have people in my referral group who've not even recommended one person. Okay, but they always message me and say, Jack, you're doing an amazing. Now, next time when they sit with a family member and they want to do remortgage, do you think they'll recommend me? Because they're getting value from the group. I'm always motivating. I'm always inspiring them. Yes, no? Yes? Okay. So you gotta have loads of lead magnets. If you go on if you write my name on Google, or if you write PEN on Google, right? PEN as you might have to write properly on that one. But if you write that, you're gonna see millions of touch points. Millions. From speaking gigs to all the YouTube channels to Facebook, LinkedIn, so on and so forth. And every video that's done on these channels is another touch point in itself. Every time a referral member goes and talks about PEN or me is a touch point. Every time a member joins a WhatsApp group, Telegram group, any of these whole bunch of community that you see of 500,000 people go and talk about you, that's a touch point. Yes, no? I have Facebook groups with over 400,000 people. Touch point. No, but it's a good question. There is never a stupid question, unfortunately. Okay? There's never a stupid question. A touch point is when something from my company touches a person who could be a potential prospect. No. So think of it this way. A touch point is when something from my company or myself, personal as well as professional brand, touches another person. No. Touches another person who could be a potential prospect who would pay. Okay, that means they either watch a video, they take a guide, they join any of these WhatsApp groups or Telegram groups or Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups and so on and so forth. Anywhere that they get in touch with PEN or my name, that's a touch point. Okay, when they touch this, now they start to get some value, free value. Now they get to know, and now they're on a journey where they would potentially buy something. And when I say buy, it could be just getting a remortgage done on their house. Okay, it could be buying a property and saying, can you get my mortgage done? It could be a development loan, bridge loan. It could be a property they're looking at, and they come to me and say, you know what, I'm looking for a certain kind of property. Can you help me? All of those are touch points. You'll find millions of touch points with PEN. Okay. Yeah, that's touch points. And then you have the lead magnets. Lead magnets could be your referral program in a flower shop. It could be your high street presence and how you present the whole window and how you're handing out leaflets and how everyone on that high street recommends you. Does that make sense? Okay, so imagine if I was on a high street like Kensington or Sloane Square or Mayfair or whatever, right? This is what I would do. I would go to every person there and say, I'm going to give you 50% discount. Flowers are cheap, right? You work on like 90% profit margin, right? Yes, no? Yeah. If you give 50% discount to everyone that's there and you say, all you got to do is just recommend me people. Do you think they'll do that? Yeah. When it's their anniversary, their birthday, they're coming in. Instead of paying £10, they're paying 5. Instead of paying 100, they're paying you 50. They're happy. You're happy. You're getting new business. Good deal? Referral system. If you don't have a referral system in any business, you're going to fail. You are going to fail miserably. Yes. If I was you, it's a very tough business to be in. Okay, there's not a lot of money. I know accountants who have 600 clients, and he barely makes 100 grand a year. He's got 600 clients. Okay, Not a necessarily great business to be managing 600 clients and barely making six-figure income. That is a bad business to be in. I could make six-figure money doing maybe 2 or 3 hours a day rather than managing 600 clients. Okay, but let's say unfortunately, I'm sorry, I know you've been in the accounting business for pretty much all of your life. So someone to tell you that, but that's the reality of it. Okay, I'm not here for you to like me. I'm here to tell you the truth. Okay, but here it is. Even if I was scaling up an accountancy business, the first thing I would do is pretty much create a system where all your bookkeeping is done in another country and that you're not paying UK salaries, and that you have a cloud system and a Sage or whatever systems you have in place that makes your life 10 times more easier. Your job now here is practically just signing up people. Create a referral program where you pay £200 to every person that brings in a client. The client stays with you for 10 years. You make that money many times over. Have an amazingly strong referral program, like literally as if you have, just go crazy over your referral program. That's what I would do, because I have looked at accountancy businesses and there's no other way you can damn that scale that business. I mean, look, I use an accountant. You have to give me a really good reason for me to move. And even if my accountant is giving me pain, the pain of moving is actually more than the pain of staying. So it's a very difficult business to scale. Yeah, it's a very difficult business to scale. But like I said, if you create a strong referral program, and if you create enough touch points of providing value, that means you go and create loads of videos where you share, you know what, you can do this, but you have to be more creative. Remember, creativity plays a major key. Okay, creativity is someone has set up a accountancy company where they're now promoting, they're running paid ads, and I know the guy. He's running paid ads saying, joining fee $149 per month. We'll charge you £20 per month as ongoing. We will set up your company. That means actually going on company's hours and setting up a company, which takes what, 5 minutes or something, right? We'll set up your company. We'll look after your structure, and we'll look after the basic bookkeeping. Okay, and everything, all of that is all set up in probably India or Bangladesh or one of these countries. Okay, and they're charging you £20 a month, which is 250. They've already signed up 3,500 people. So look at the numbers: 350, 3,500 people times £250 plus the £150 setup fee, and all of that is getting done in an Asian country. While in this country, all they're doing is signing up people. Okay, now let's say they're at 3,500 signups. They get to 10,000 signups. All of a sudden, that company is valued at 5 million. No, you have to have profits in the business to be able to have valuation in the first place. But you got to be more creative with it. If you are signing up people and you're doing their own accountancy and bookkeeping, you're not paying. It's like swapping time for money. You have to create a system where people can see value, but at the same time, it's profitable for you. You have to be more creative. I mean, look at this, right? Okay, so this is a hard example on me, okay? There are 4 of you sitting here. You've driven 4 hours one way, you're gonna drive 4 hours back. I have to do really something good to be able to, first of all, bring you here, pay me for it, pay to stay here, okay? And then still get money out of it. I have to do something good. Otherwise, I will not survive. Will I survive? Yes? There you go. I always tell people, look, if you're running a business, unless I go and color my hair and I get attention, I can't do that, can I? I'm not the best looking man in the world, am I? Right? You have to find a way to stand out. And the way to stand out is creating all these systems that you see, the value ladder, the points, all the knowledge and the value and everything else that you do around it, and the way you create your systems. You have to do all of that to be able to stand out. I could show you PEN. Huh? Start what now? Start a business. Tell me which business, because it makes a big difference. Oh, what you're in essence saying is, what's the best business to be in at this moment of time? There is no straight answer to that, okay? It's what works for you. You have to see what works for you. Okay, look, if let's say, that's right, yes.
You still have to be able to compete.
she has a good point. Go ahead.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Okay, that's investor's perspective, right? Yes. Business to be in. I understand that. Look, you have to look. If let's say you put Elon Musk in my position and you put me in Elon Musk's position, what will happen to the both businesses? Tell me. I'll tell you what you're trying to do. Okay, what you're trying to do is put a footballer into a cricketer's position, and you're putting cricketers into a footballer's position. Okay, they're both going to fail most likely. Okay, I'm not saying Elon Musk would fail in PEN. I'm saying you're putting them in the wrong positions. Okay, you need to, as a person yourself, first understand what is it that you enjoy in the first place. For me, there's only two things I can tell you now. It's technology and property. That's what works for me.
That's what I said about passion.
That's what works for me. You have.
No, but yeah, but you still have to acquire.
No. It's not about It's not about passion. Wait. Let me share with you something. Okay, go and read a book called Ikigai. Okay, Ikigai. It's a really good book. It takes you into the real depth of understanding how you can actually monetize what you love. Okay, that Ikigai. Ikegai, I think. Ikigai. Ikigai. I think it's a Japanese word, and it's a Japanese word, but it's a book, right? Just go and read the book. Okay, what it does is it actually shares with you about how you can find a way to monetize what you actually enjoy. Okay, now that doesn't mean that you enjoy selling flowers and you go and start selling flowers. Okay, but there's always, it actually gives you, if you write Ikigai, not just shows you the book, it gives you the diagram as well, which kind of pretty much every aspect of it is drawn, right? You can check that. But the essence of it is that what is it that you actually enjoy in the first place? Remember, the grass looks always greener on the other side. The grass is always green where you water it, okay? It's where you are and what you do with the resources that you have now. If let's say I decide I want to go to America today and I know no one, I don't know any, not just knowing anyone, I don't know the country, I don't know the rules, okay? I'm going to struggle, right? I'm going to struggle for the first 2-3 years. You bring Elon Musk here, he's going to struggle in this country. He doesn't know the rules, right? Does he know the rules? Okay. Unless he hires people, that's a different story. Okay. You always got to look at where you are and be able to leverage your resources in a creative way to be able to make money. For me, it's technology and property. Okay. For me, for example, I have a certain number of properties, capital growth. Now I'm looking at cash flow. I'm scaling this. I'm using PEN as a technology platform. And if you go to PEN, if you check actually PEN, how in-depth it is, you'll be surprised. The amount of time I've invested, it's amazing. But go and check it out so you can see how creatively you can do things, right? If you go to PEN at the front end is a lead magnet. You know that? It's a lead magnet. It's nothing else. You can go get registered, interact with investors, agents, deals, and everything else. The more you interact, the more you like, wow, this is amazing, and I want to know who's running it and what's really happening and how I can make money out of it. That's what happens when people start using PEN. That's the thought process. I know that already. Someone goes on it, he's a consultant, let's say he's a surveyor. Goes, oh, wow, you can find architects, you can find planners, you can find surveyors. Oh, can I go and get registered on this website? He gets registered for free. Now he gets in touch with them and say, you know what? How big is this network? I tell him 500,000. Oh, can I advertise? Does that make sense? Okay, I make money at the back of that. Every time someone goes on PEN and it becomes a lead magnet to attract people into a system which is going to make me money. Okay, I always tell people, I'm going to share value with you. Either you sign up or you don't. I'm still going to make money. I'm still going to make money. Yeah. I give you everything ready. It's taken me 4 years to prepare everything with all the 25, 27 years of knowledge to create this. you go and try and do this, even though you're learning here, it's going to take you a lot because you've not done it. Yeah, then you don't have to. You don't have to. No one is saying, yeah, you don't have to. Property. Yeah. Now let's talk about the actual property deals. Now, let's say you might ask me a question, forget about passion, forget about, let's talk money and let's talk about how I can grow my portfolio. You might ask me a solid question like that, right? Okay, simple. If you look at PEN again, the way it's structured, someone could join as a referral member, go all the way up to PEN Club, invest with us, they make returns, and then we still grow our portfolio. You could create the same value ladder in your business, allowing you to attract enough money to grow your own portfolio. I am able to scale this to 100 rooms because of what you see the structure of PE. That's the only reason. The only reason I came across Blackpool in the first place is because of PEN. Because someone uploaded a property on PEN about 4 years ago, three plus years ago. And I saw the deal. I was like, this looks amazing. And I said to myself, so we were going to go on a holiday to Blackpool, spend about 2 or 3 days. We came here 2 or 3 days. The first thing I did was agree to a hotel. Exactly. You need to be able to see through every touch point that's connected to your business. Okay. So someone uploads a property on PEN. I look at it. I'm like, now I'm the only one looking at the actual data of it. Remember, no one else is looking at the data. I'm looking at the admin panel. And I'm looking, I'm like, this looks amazing. Let me go and check it out. So now I came across Blackpool. I did more research. Now I'm investing here. At the same time, PEN at the front end is bringing in people that's investing with us, and they're paying money on all sorts of different levels, allowing us to monetize. Is that a good business model? Remember, you don't ever need to compare yourself to anyone. People, this is a mistake people do. They compare themselves to Elon Musk and Warren Buffett. You don't need to do that. Why would you punish yourself? And I'll tell you why. Why would you punish yourself? Let me tell you the difference between making $1 million and $1 billion. Let me tell you the difference. And it's so small, you'll be blown away. You'll be blown away. Okay. You know, when you learn sales skills, okay, think of a scale of 100. You can get to a 7, or you can get to 70% sales skills levels within a week. I'll tell you how. Let's say you join a job. How long does it take you to pick up the basics in any job, in any new job? About a week? 1 or 2 weeks? 2 weeks, yeah, let's say 2 weeks. If you don't do 70% of the job, if you don't learn 70% of the job within 2 weeks, they will throw you out. They'll just ask you to leave. That's learning 70% of anything within 2 weeks. Now, from 70% to 90% would take you 10 years. Yes? Yep. From 90% to 100 is where the Elon Musks and the Warren Buffetts sit. They are at 100%. The journey from a 90% to 100% is not just the sales skills and the structure and everything else around it, and the way you do investment and understand the back end and the front end and everything else. It's the whole journey. It can take some people their whole life. Some people just don't have the IQ to understand all of this in the first place. And those who do not have the courage to implement. And those who do have the courage, maybe are just not lucky. Okay, you do need a bit of everything to go from that 90 to 100. And guess what? You can get to even 99 and be making maybe $1 million. But from 99 to 99.1, it's $1 billion. Okay, but you have to go through that painful journey. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That 0.1 can be the difference between making $1 million and $1 billion. So your journey, you're comparing one person's journey to another is wrong on many logical levels, because Elon Musk was not born in UK. He was born in America. He grew up in a tech environment. He was very well positioned for a money-based technology platform, which they pulled off. It's the timing. Okay? You gotta say there's always a tiny bit of luck. Anyone who says there isn't, think again. I meet people all day long. This guy, and this is in coding, this guy is selling because he has cancer. the Wogden house, right? This girl is selling Rivera because she has tumor in her tummy. You talk to me about luck. It's a bit of a luck there as well. There's no guarantee. I mean, Kobe Bryant died, right? In a car, a helicopter accident. You call me luck? Yeah, this guy is what, on top of his game, making lots of money, right? He dies with a 16-year-old daughter. Okay, tiny bit of luck. If you speak with anyone who is humble enough to tell you that, I have met the founder of lastminute.com, sold for, I think, nearly $1 billion or something. Okay, and he said there was a little bit of luck, timing and luck, And I have met people who are not really smart and they make very good money just because they were at the right time, at the right place, and they're not even that talented. But at the same time, your comparison is wrong because one person starts from here while another one starts from here. Another one starts, he's got an inheritance of 10 million. I mean, look at the likes of Donald Trump. He's done well, but he started with $1 million in 1970s. Okay? Okay, you can't compare your journey with him, can you? That doesn't make sense. So you must never compare your journey with anyone, like not even me, not the next person sitting to you. The only person you need to compare your journey is to what you did yesterday. Did you do a better job today than what you did yesterday? That's all that matters. It's a bad comparison. All you're doing is you're punishing yourself. Okay? I'm into technology. I'm a technology consultant. You might turn up and say, you know what, I'm not paying you 20 grand. I'm going to go and speak with Elon Musk. Good luck to you getting through. Okay? So it's a wrong comparison. This guy is not going to consult you at 20 grand a day. This guy is gonna, I mean, you can have a lunch with Warren Buffett. I think you guys know that, right? You pay $1.5 million for a lunch. Did you know that? You can. Get in touch with Warren Buffett. He will spend a lunchtime with you, which is an hour. You pay $1.5 million. The last time I checked, it was $1.5 million. Okay? Guess what? You are not going to learn anything more than what you're going to learn from the books that he's either been a part of or whatever. But guess where the difference is? The difference is that he's been at it for the past 90 damn years. He's a 90-year-old man. He started when he was like 12 years old. He's been at it for 80 years. Have you been at it for 80 years? And that's what he's going to tell you. You have to do it to be able to get to that point. Otherwise, you just never learn. If you look at me, my learning journey is, I learn way more than anyone here does. Guess why? Because for you to be able to teach someone, you have to dig deeper, otherwise you can't teach. And I always tell people, go and teach, because you can't teach unless you don't know yourself. And the more you learn, teach, the more you understand the depth, the more you're able to take that and implement. Imagine the value ladder on two different levels within PEM. We have these services, finance, property finance, property deals, architects, planners, consultants, project managers, surveyors, and then you have simultaneously running the property referral program, the PEM inner circle, the reps model, the training, mentoring, and the PEM cloud, and then consulting at the back of that, running parallelly, correlated, helping each other. Does that make sense? You have to go through a massive learning journey to be able to implement that in any business. And anyone who comes and tells me that, oh, I don't know how you're going to scale this thing to 100 million valuation, guess what? Because I am. It's already been valued at 2 million. Okay? All I have to do is push through on multiple different income streams, and it's going to get valued. I may not survive that, but if, let's say, someone else takes over behind me and is a more skilled person than I am, if I don't scale it, he will. Does that make sense? You have to create something that someone else can take over and scale. Shall we take a break? Good.